I'm rolling on into it. I might have to call in.
Why you took off the bonnet, girl? I thought you was making a statement. You on mute, Destiny. Unmute.
Give me a second.
Okay, my bad.
Oh, she didn't have the link. Give me a second.
Wait, I was on I can't say it. I'll wait till we get off the Zoom there. Cause you recording.
Behave.
I'm gonna be good for the next hour because it ain't gonna last no less than an hour.
No less. Did everybody get to look at the link, or have they read the book, The Sneetches?
Yeah.
I needed a refresher. I had to look at that link. It was shorter than I thought. For some reason, it's such a long read. I guess it didn't explain it. My daughter asks questions on everything. I can't. I'm like, can you let me finish the sentence first? That's good though.
That's so low.
Thank you guys for coming to the Sneetches, the adult discussion on this children's book. I'm actually gonna open it up to you guys because I know a lot of strong opinions, and we probably have different comments on it.
I'm raising my hand.
Go ahead, Lucy.
I'm gonna
Take
be
it away.
good. I remember that book as a child and I loved it. But when I did it just now, I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I saw the racism. I saw the playing on people's insecurities. I mean, I was like, this is how they came in and divided us. The have-nots, and the people who want to have and do anything to get it. And then once they got it, they changed the game again. I was like, now as a kid, I loved the book. Don't get me wrong. I love Dr. Seuss. He made reading fun for kids because it rhymed. I don't know why they took him off the shelf. Like there's a million other things you could have took off the shelf. But, and I actually watched I didn't read the book. I watched the story. There's a little movie about it. The Dr. Seuss movies. Well, as soon as I saw it, I knew the book because I remember the book. And then when it first started out with the ones with the stars acting snooty patootie, and then you had the ones without the stars, that was the haves and have-nots. But as you listen to them speak to one another, it became racism also. You get what I'm saying? And then it was a division, it was a class division. You know, you got the ones with the stars having their little marshmallows and their little cookout and stuff. And when the other ones tried to join in, they kicked them to the curb. And in this, I want to say, where we at now in society, that it kicked me in my gut. I felt that. I was like, ooh, because I know I'd have been the one without the star, trying to get that star on my belly. And then when I got that star on my belly, y'all changed the game on me. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going to keep it cool. I'm trying not to curse because I know I got a bad mouth. So I'm going to pass it over to Gloria. Go ahead, Gloria.
Why me? I was waiting on other people because y'all know I have strong opinions about everything.
I want to jump in on them Frankfurter roast and marshmallows, because I had to tell my daughter when we first was watching it, she was like, "Well, that's not nice." I'm like, "Yes," and I kind of zoomed it back after we watched it, and I was like, just for her to understand that these people did not want, well, the star Sneetches did not want the non-star Sneetches in their ball game, in their cookout. Meanwhile, I was like, you see how sad they are, and nobody wants to play with them. They don't want to share with them. They can still have their own fun and have their own cookout, get their own ball. You don't have to be sad because somebody doesn't want you to be friends with you or include you in what they're doing. You have your own friends and you can have fun with your own things by yourself. Especially since I got a single child. So a lot of things, it's by herself. And I don't always want her to feel like, she has to be, because she has that feeling of wanting to be around everybody else with other kids. Sometimes it's not that they want to be mean to you, they just don't want to for whatever reason. But you know that you have your own things, you have your own friends, you can still have fun. Your life doesn't have to be sad just because other people don't want to include you in what they're doing. Hey.
Go ahead, Destiny.
Hey.
Oh, I didn't know if I could talk or we
Yes.
had to take turns or something. But that was one of the things I mainly noticed in the book that I did not like. I didn't like how just because they weren't allowed to participate, they acted like they couldn't function. Like just because I'm not allowed to participate, I can't do anything. No, you do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? If you can't do what they do, have your own party. Roast your own wieners and marshmallows. Make your own music. Do what you want to do. But you don't have to be included in other people's plans. You can always make your own plans. And then to me, when they kind of switched it up, like they didn't want the stars or whatever. Wait, this is being recorded?
Yes.
Yes.
Be open. Be honest.
Okay, but it kind of reminded me of white people. You know how like
That's the theme of it. I think
they
people
don't like
that.
you. They don't like you, but they want to be you. In a sense.
Cultural appropriation.
You know,
Yeah,
you don't like my lips. You don't
yes.
like my hair. You know, you don't like my body structure, but you want it. You know what I'm saying? You spending thousands of dollars to get it, but you won't let me sit to the table with you. But you want to look like me at the table. It doesn't make sense. That's all I want to say.
I just want to throw a word out there. Cultural evolution. Go ahead.
Well, when I first read the book as a child, no clue, just like Lucy, no clue what Dr. Seuss was trying to say. And I'm really mad that they all of a sudden canceled him. And he's, this cancel culture, he's canceled because he wrote some books that had racist images or whatever. But the man was a genius. He has been pulling out social issues in all his books. We reading them, marshmallow roast and Frankfurter toast and the Sneetches without and the Sneetches are with, and we're not paying attention to the deeper message. And children aren't able to understand until you start questioning them. You start questioning them. And so as I'm doing like this, like I got my glasses on, y'all. But he is such an innovative man because he was bringing out such strong political and racial issues in his books, making it child friendly, where you can explain to your kids racism, you can explain classism, and you could explain capitalism. When I initially read it, I didn't even think about racism. I didn't. When I was reading it, because I had to do it for a student teaching thing, and I did it in an 8th grade classroom, and I really more so thought about the capitalism, how the media manipulates us into believing that we're not good enough. And when I saw the Sneetches, see, I did think black and white, but I didn't think racism initially. That came later. What I was thinking is, I'm gonna make everybody have low self-esteem. Because remember, these had stars and these didn't. Then they switched it up. They couldn't tell which one was which and who was what. And what does capitalism do to us? We watch a commercial, my hair ain't long enough. We watch a commercial, I'm not skinny enough. We watch a commercial, I'm not smart enough. I gotta put, my children aren't here or there. And what TV and commercials like the Monkey McBean dude, the dude who came to town, he represented media to me. Media makes us feel crappy. How they know about the marshmallow toast and all of this, because it was shown to them some kind of way. And it also hit on a lot of things about self-esteem. Self-esteem, even the ones with the stars, you thinking, oh, they got high self-esteem, they doing this, they out there doing that. But as soon as somebody tried to get what they got, better than you, but then it switched up. Wait, you got a star now? I don't want mine no more. Self-esteem issue. I want to be on top of the totem pole. I want to be the best of the best. And if you try to compete with me, I don't want that no more. I'm gonna try something different.
Change up the game.
Huh?
Change up the game.
Changed up the game. And it was just like, I remember the thing that got me, and I made this a statement in that classroom that day, bullet toe Nikes. All the kids that had money had bullet toe Nikes. They
You
had them
know
in
this
See these
every
Nikes, they sound
color.
ugly.
They had them in every color. And Lord, I wanted a pair of bullet toe Nikes. I'm still rocking Walmart, you know, telling me about my shoes. And I really wanted a pair of bullet toe Nikes. Mommy, daddy, I want bullet toe Nikes. All the kids got bullet toe Nikes and they got them in all these different colors. Soon as they went on sale and they were cheap enough for me to get my first pair of bullet toe Nikes, I was about to cuss. I was about to, them issues were out of style. So when I got them, I was being clowned. Girl, you wear bullet toe Nikes?
Yeah, that happened to me.
You know, like, and it really made me identify with them darn Sneetches. As soon as I'm able to get it, as soon as I'm able to achieve it, and
Switch up the game.
that's how capitalism keeps us spending our money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm done.
Who alone here?
Speaking of that money, I was like, I wanted to kind of throw that phrase, the root of all evil. And then when they didn't have it, now they had less to, I guess, worry about. So now it's like, maybe they're not so bad. I don't want to say money's evil because I don't believe that really. It's an opportunity to do good as well. You have people that do bad things with good things too. But it took them to be broke to come together.
That's even the same with us. Once we're broke, we realize I didn't need that anyway. Or I should have never did that. It's basically they play on us.
Mm-hmm.
Play on our insecurities. They play on the whole have and have not. They play on who we like basically immortalize. Who, because these kids, they really look at basketball stars and movie stars and these rappers and stuff and swear to God, they on top of the world. And I keep telling them, money cannot make you happy. They can have all the money in the world and be miserable. Look at Destiny's face. You could be rich as a sneak and still be broke as a joke. You gotta understand. Money cannot make you happy. It can make you comfortable, but it cannot make you happy.
You make you
If you're
happy and
not happy
comfortable.
within yourself, that money only gonna do is make you spend more to make yourself look happy.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these kids are idolizing the wrong things.
Why is my phone not charging? God damn.
Did you see that face you just made? That's
Me?
looking like an ant.
That
Okay.
is.
But yeah, like I said, as a kid, I loved the book. I love Dr. Seuss. As a kid, I never realized the things that he pointed out to us when we were little. Never realized. I don't even think the adults at that time realized, because when he wrote those books, he was writing those books from where he was at in that period and that time frame.
And we
So
still there.
they banning him now in this culture for things that he was pointing out that's been going on for 30, 40 years ago. And as a matter of fact, they still happening right now. But you know what? Instead of addressing it, what they do, they cancel them because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. Go ahead, Gloria.
Like this whole cancel culture thing. Now, Dr. Seuss came out on the scene, I don't know, don't quote me, 60s, 70s, I don't know. And at that time in the culture, there was some real nasty stuff going on in America. Fast forward to 2021, just like Lucy said, it's about shutting it up. You picked out one or two, they picked out one or two books where the images were like the Africans with the big lips and it was like something about monkeys in a zoo and stuff like that, right? They picked out like one or two books and then they canceled this whole man's credibility, or they tried to cancel this whole man's credibility on the images and things in about one or two books. You know why they did that? Because they don't want to talk about the real shit. Read other books as an adult, like A Turtle Named Mac. Read that one. a turtle named Mac. Then Yertle the turtle. When I tell you this dude, I feel like he has some black in him somewhere because he was really trying to tell people the injustices in a kid-friendly way, because if a child can understand, you could change the world. If children just could understand, because it's the adults that's effed up. I'm trying to avoid cursing. It is the adults that are effed up. So he was reaching children, but the adults in the children's lives weren't asking the right questions and relating it to real world. Now all teachers, how does it relate to the real world? Real world experiences, real world experiences. Oh, y'all want to shut them up. You don't want us to talk about the real world with these kids using the same material that he made 50, 60 years ago. Hold up. Now they talking about, now they don't, in 20 something states, they don't want cultural, y'all help me with the thing. They don't want Black history
Critical
taught.
race theory?
Critical race theory. They don't want critical race theory taught in schools right now. There are so many states that made it illegal to teach about race and relations.
Gloria,
But you want to cancel
Gloria,
this.
you making the ant face.
You want to cancel Dr. Seuss at 2021. When this, I was about to say N-word. When this man has been exploited, he's been telling it the whole time where kids can understand. The whole time. But now you want to cancel him in the light of critical race theory. Really? Y'all know back in the day they used to have that thing, things that make you go, That makes me go, Who want to cancel Dr. Seuss? I don't. Who wanted to cancel him? Media. Why? Why? Because they learning that it's not so many more opportunities, that y'all gonna keep making money off of us and exploiting us based on race. It's gonna come to an end, boo. Capitalism can't last as long as it has. Period.
And that's on period. That's on period. Oh gosh. You know what? Talking about Dr. Seuss, y'all remember on the Cat in the Hat thing 1 and thing 2?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he was talking about ADHD. Think about it. Thing 1 and thing 2. Not the kids in the house, not Sarah and the brother. Thing 1 and thing 2 could not keep still in the everything. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Them, they didn't have Ritalin. They was
I gotta reread that one. I gotta reread it.
Y'all don't remember the Cat in the Hat with thing
Ooh,
1?
I do, but as an adult, you remember it from a child's perspective. Once I reread the
That's the
Sneetches,
I
point.
don't remember the story.
That's true. Those kids were kind of, they were.
Oh, Angelique, I didn't know you were there. You scared me.
Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, no, you made me laugh because you're like, they needed Ritalin, and I'm like, yeah, those kids, they were a little wild.
Yeah, they used to get in everything. They destroyed, they wrecked the house. Thing 1 and thing 2, they had on the red outfits with the blue hair. They ran amok. Constantly in the
other thing too.
Yep. And the more I looked at it, I was like, I wonder if he was talking about like disorders like ADD, ADHD, and all that, the hyperactiveness. But no one even looked at that. But now that they've banished his books, these kids cannot get those little messages anymore. I mean, I still got the whole collection, but how many people do?
I don't. I only have Sneetches, and I have One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, and Hooper Humperdinck, not him, and I think Are You My Mother? That's like it.
Wow.
I ain't never heard of half these books.
I need to get
He's got a lot, but you know what? He got books under another name too.
Really? What name is that?
It's THE or IEG, I think it is. He got books under another name. I think the last name is Thieg or something like that. But yeah.
I remember his real name. Isn't it like Theodore Geisel or something like that? Isn't that his real name?
That's another one. That's another one.
Theodore Geisel or
Geisel is another one. Yeah.
Theodore?
We all
Dr.
got
There's a lot of
Seuss.
shadow writing on different names, so you got to look it up. Destiny, what are you laughing at?
His name was Theodore.
Of all the things you can laugh at, at least it ain't Theophilus.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
That's
go
true.
ahead. Theodore Seuss Geisel. Theodore Seuss Geisel.
Oh, my leg.
That was his
So,
real
yeah.
Speaking of which, because you know I'm on FB Live, right? He was watching you.
I still love him, but Theophilus, don't worry, that's Marcus' name too.
I wonder how they come up with that.
I don't know. Tell Theo I'll bring him some
Greek.
Okay, so
some
I'm gonna tell you,
raviolis when I get there.
according to a real quick Google search, the ones that were canceled, were And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street,
I have that one.
If I Ran the Zoo,
I have that one.
Mick Elliott's Pool,
I don't have that.
On Beyond Zebra,
I don't think I have that one.
Scrambled Eggs Super,
I have that.
and The Cat's Quizzer.
I don't have that one. So they didn't cancel Dr. Seuss, they canceled some of his books.
Well, this is according to a real quick Google search, but when his name came up and they were like, we're canceling him because the racism and racist images, I was like, if y'all don't sit down, because another thing, I think Dr. Seuss, when you brought up thing 1 and thing 2, I got to go back and read it. But if we look at the imagination versus reality, now we know that there were 2 kids in that house by themselves with no adult supervision. There were 2 kids in that house on that rainy day, and nobody was in the house with them. So that's when this cat shows up and he pulls out thing 1 and thing 2.
Didn't Mama say don't answer the door for nobody?
But nobody.
Even Jesus.
Nobody.
He said, including Jesus.
That brings on a whole nother dimension, a whole nother layer to that book, because the kids, it could have been the kids displacing their behavior on thing 1 and thing 2. Those kids,
Yeah.
Those kids could have been in that house wrecking, but that goes from reality, imagination. So I gotta really go back and read that one. But let's talk about why that mama left them kids in the house by themselves.
But you want to know something? What you saying is a very good theory, because time, place, when he wrote those books, there was a lot of latchkey kids. And a lot of latchkey kids, you don't answer that door and you do not go outside. So, and because we were latchkey kids, when you wrecked that house had to be clean by the time mama came home.
Clean it up.
Because they flipped the house upside down and got it clean. So what you saying, it makes perfect sense.
So all that mischievousness that went on in that house all day, while parents were gone, and from my perception, I gotta go back and read it. That was
Say that again.
Yeah,
the main
it
character.
was
It was a single mother because she left them kids. It made no mention of a father figure either. Them kids went in that house, tore that house up. Well, thing 1 and thing 2, because y'all ever think when your kids do something and you be like, who broke not me. It wasn't me. And so kids could displace that on thing 1 and thing 2. When they get home and mom like, yo, why the carpet went? It wasn't me. But these 2 things came in the house and did it. So he might have been talking about a lot of things, mental illness, the dangers of leaving your children home alone, mental disassociation from kids not being supervised or properly taught. When I tell you, go back and read some of his stuff, as an adult, I went back and every Dr. Seuss day, I read a book, and then when I just asked the kids, what do you think? And then they started giving me topics that could be discussed. So the fact that you can't canceling anybody when there's trying to be legislation passed to talk about critical race theory in 2021 when we still got these racist separatist ideas, and this man is just doing it where a kid can understand. They don't want, I think they want, my conspiracy theory is the more people who are sleeping, the more money that our government and the 1% they need to
Remember,
stay asleep.
remember the last book read we did where I said poverty, stupidity, all those things make money. So I've been said they were dumbing us down because you cannot control, you cannot do the things you can to a person. I don't want to say woke because I'm tired of everybody talking about they woke. No, you're not woke, you're still asleep. I don't want to use the word woke, but conscious. I want to say conscious. You cannot control conscious people who knows the game. So yeah, I think the cancel culture is, the purpose of the cancel culture is so that we don't know. Because when you don't know, history tends to repeat itself. I was looking at some video where they said there are missing towns where entire towns were wiped out. Black towns were wiped out and turned into lakes. Did y'all see that?
I did not.
And the more I looked at it, I thought they started listing these towns, and I started looking them up.
I saw it.
Central Park was one.
Oh yeah,
They built a lake.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 in Georgia. There's like 3 or 4 in Florida where they actually killed the black people, ran them out, and turned them into lakes. The entire town is still there underwater.
Wow.
We didn't know nothing about that. Now we just learning, like really publicly learning about the Tulsa massacre. Like I would say I knew about that for the last 5-6 years. Okay. That's one incident. But when they listed at least 70 towns that they just buried underwater. You see what I'm saying? And I know I posted one where they had like other massacres, like the Tulsa one, and it had to be like 60 of those. So no, they don't want us to know, because when we don't know, history will repeat itself. So that's my speech.
Angelique, I didn't get to hear from you on the book.
Why am I not seeing Angelique?
She there. You put it back on gallery.
I'm going back in gallery. Give me a minute. Let's see.
Hello? Sorry, I had to move because we're cooking and it was like a blender going. That's why I had my thing on mute. So there were some points brought up that I didn't necessarily think of. Like Annette and Destiny, you both said like you can do your own thing. You don't necessarily need to feel included. But it's weird because that's the environment that was created. That's the lie, that you need to be with us. We make the thing cool, or we validify it. And it's like, no, you actually don't. Like, we can have our own marshmallow roast or go to the beach by ourselves or build our own beach or whatever. No, you are not the owner and the creator, and you don't get to like be the gatekeeper for that. And also, not only that, we can create new things. You know, that so it's like, I never thought about it that way. And I was actually really excited when I found out we were doing the Sneetches. I was like, oh, one of my favorites, because it's one of the books that I needed to have in my personal collection. For me, it wasn't always a race thing. As I got older, it became a race thing. I feel like when I was younger, it was more of like a haves or a have-nots, or making somebody feel bad about themselves and just putting them down. But it was funny because it wasn't like it was two separate species of creatures. Like, they're all Sneetches. So it could have even been like people with dark hair or light hair or brown eyes or this eyes or fat. Like, there's so many different things. It could even be about people who are disabled, you know, or people who are differently abled. So many different ways that it can be interpreted. Mostly what I get out of the story is just about like keeping people separated. And also, to a degree, people building their ego off of demeaning somebody else. Because to a degree, like, there wasn't really anything else that made the Starbelly Sneetches special. It was literally, oh, well, we have a star and you don't. Like, and you have a nasty personality. So, and that's a little bit more important than whether you have a star on your belly. And it's funny too, because when we talk about Professor McMonkey McBean, he came in and he was like, oh, I'm gonna exploit the heck out of you guys. I know exactly what to do here. Like, I know exactly what to do. And they ended up being broke and feeling stupid because they all got swindled in the end. Going through the machine, coming out the machine, go, no, we're better, oh, no. And then it was like, it wasn't even ever about the stars, because once the non-starred ones got stars, the other ones were like, oh, we'll just take ours off, and we'll still be able to tell ourselves apart. We'll still be the best. And it was like, so it wasn't even ever about that. It was about feeling better. That's really what it was about. It was about your bloated sense of ego.
Yeah, they couldn't even tell each other apart at one time.
Yeah, so it was like, this is so stupid. So for me, it was just like trying to keep to the similarities, and that's something that I've lived my life by, because everybody's different. But just trying to find the things you have in common as opposed to the things that make you different. You know, finding that common ground, especially because we're in a time where everybody is so divisive. And if you disagree on like one point that's important to somebody, it's like this whole, oh my gosh. People are just hyper focused on our differences, and it's a bit ridiculous. Go ahead, Gloria.
Wanted the fact that you just made me think about something. Okay, Destiny brought out a point earlier that she saw black and white. She saw black and white when I initially read the book, I never really saw race. I saw capitalism at its finest. But when you were talking, it made me think, they are doing that to the Black community. Team natural versus people who continue to relax.
Yep.
Divide us. People who wear wigs and weave versus people who don't. They divide us. Light-skinned, dark-skinned. They divide us. I mean, if you think about it, and it's all about money. It is all about money. So even if we can look at it in black and white, but then it made me think a little bit deeper when you were talking. You can divide a community within itself, and it's always been working, always working. When I look at children, students in a high poverty school, they be going off, oh, your shoes leaning, you don't got this, you got your shoes from Walmart. I'm like, all of y'all attend a Title I school. I'll be catching myself because I'll be about to say my N-word. I'm like, y'all all poor, bruh. Y'all all poor. Y'all all in a Title I school. What are you even talking about? What are you? Oh, this person wearing this person. Oh, your lashes, your tape up line. Yo, we all poor. We all go to the same school and use those little things. Your mama make $10 more and your mama make $10 more a week. Well, $10 more a week than my mama, and you clowning me over my shoes or my tape up line or my braid fell out. We all poor in this mug. We all poor, but you got nails and you don't. Your book bag is from Nike and yours is not. And once I get the Nike book bag, I'm still not good enough. And you still clown me about another detail. So they thought that in my Title I school, giving uniforms was gonna cure bullying. Giving uniforms was gonna cure bullying. Make them all look alike. Make them all wear the same color top and the same color bottom. You know what happened? Kids started clowning about something different. Just like in the book.
Because the problem is like something here. They trying to use external measures, and it's an internal.
It is a self-esteem issue, and the media and the 1% has figured it out. We gonna always, when I use the term nigger, I'm saying it as a means to highlight ignorant people. They gonna always keep us niggers sleeping because they're always gonna find something to make more money off of us by playing on what makes us feel bad about ourselves. Our kids, they want to fit in. They want the clothes, the shoes, the hair, the nails, the lashes. And then not only that, looking crazy as hell.
Goofy.
looking goofy, but they feel like I'm better than you, but you don't even realize how the stars, McMonkey McBean.
You want to know something? Going on what you said, go back. Think of the Willie Lynch letters. How do they say they can keep us trapped and enslaved? Point out our differences. Oh, your nose bigger than mine, you big goofy. Oh, you darker than me, blackie. Oh, your hair is so nappy.
Gosh.
I got good hair, you got nappy. This goes back to the Willie Lynch letters. Those letters basically stated they will keep our minds enslaved for an additional 500 years. And it is so, and the media is playing on it. And we feed into it. Our kids are feeding into it. And that's when I said that these stars and these athletes and these rappers have become their gods and goddesses. Because we're playing into that whole Willie Lynch theory. The haves and the have-nots. And like you said, once you get it, it's either out of style or the game done changed.
You just hit on a very important thing because I was talking with my friend, like I think yesterday, about how Black people pick on each other for the slightest difference. Like you call somebody, like you said, the darky thing. And it's like, you brown too. Like, yeah, maybe it's a couple of shades, but to them, we're all niggers anyway. So like,
yeah,
what is that? Oh, your
Yeah.
hair. Oh, she got the good. She got the good hair. Your hair's nappy. Your hair's not straight either, dude.
At the end of the day, when they look at us, they don't see, oh, your nose bigger. They don't see, oh, your hair nappy. No, you's a nigga. You's a nigga. Black, Puerto Rican, whatever. You still a nigga. You not one of them. And they'll tell you that in a minute. If you ain't what they consider white, you's a nigga. And they always use that card, that card of differences to get at us. Now, y'all know, y'all felt those cards before. Oh, even you too fat. You too black. Your hair too nappy. Your nose too big. And they'll do it with friends too. You have two friends. Me and Tanya were close as ever. We would walk down the street. Now, we both fat. But you know what they would say? They would look at Tanya and go, damn, you black. What? Houseway? She was just a tad, she was just a tad bit darker. It's like me and Gloria standing side by side. A tad bit darker. And they was like, damn, you black. Like, ooh. How dare you? But you know what? We played into that. We all play into it. Well, because you'll look at your friend like in another light, like, damn, I never realized that. You weren't supposed to realize that. Somebody, I'm telling you, back in the day, you didn't realize it until somebody else pointed it out, like it was a bad thing. I'm for real. I'm not even playing Destiny. Like, think about it. See, you see, when we moved down here, Tootsie felt it. You didn't feel it. Think about your sister. When Tootsie moved down here, she was Destiny's little black sister. And she always told her, Ma, I hate it here. Ask your sister when she get home. Ma, I don't like it. Why? Because I'm Destiny's little black sister. What you mean you Destiny's little black sister? They all, when they start talking about you two and they didn't know which one, the black one. That's what they said. The black one. You know how many times I had to tell your sister, you're beautiful. Because somebody down here done played the race card on her. See, that didn't exist like it does down here when we were in New York. But down here, everything is light skin and dark skin. Every damn thing is light skin, dark skin, curly hair, natural hair, straight hair. The more white your features are, the prettier you are considered. Go ahead, Gloria.
And I'm telling you, Dr. Seuss was a freaking genius. But even amongst, so first look at it, we can look at black versus white, and we can look at it other races versus black, other races versus white. But another thing that just made me think about as you were talking, Lucy, in the black community, male and female relationships. Men who talk about, I won't date a black woman. Yo mama black, my dude. Your mama black. Your mama black, dude. Your sisters are black. Your aunties are black. How you don't date black chicks?
A lot of black men say that
And
too.
black men will pick light-skinned women against dark-skinned women. Or just those little things that McMonkey McBean was doing. You can be just as good as them if you do this.
Do that.
For dark-skinned women, if you talk too loud, then you all of a sudden ghetto because you dark-skinned. What? And then that's what makes it so trashy, because like Destiny Divine, same family, not even a whole shade different. Not even a whole shade different. Me
Oh
and
yeah.
Mama, not even a whole shade different. But people made us feel so different. Same mama, same daddy. Made people, and then as in the black community, we need to start investigating the things that have divided us. And I really believe it really stems heavily from slavery,
It does.
from the segregationist era. You know, when they had tan clubs where you had to be a certain color to get in the club, sister and brother, same mama, same daddy, one sibling can get in and one sibling can't. Where they do that at?
We had an aunt like that. If you didn't pass
Black
the brown
people, we
paper
did
bag
that to
test,
ourselves. When I found that out about those like Jack and Jill clubs, I was so upset because it was like nobody forced that on us. We did this within our own community.
yeah,
To separate and
I
to
had
try
an
to
aunt.
assimilate.
I had an aunt when we used to have to go to her on the weekend. She would let me in. She would let Thelma in. Sometimes she would let Gloria in, but the rest of them had to sit in the hallway because they couldn't pass the brown paper bag test.
That's
Ask your mother that your
Mhm.
mother was not allowed in there. And Lois, like you said, not even a complete shade. They had to sit in the hallway. On Hazel, they had to sit in the hallway. So when she had brain surgery and she lost her mind, right?
Mhm.
It was like going back. She was basically an infant. And you look at this lady and go, you were the one that caused so much destruction in my family. You separated me and my brothers and sisters based on color. Same mama, same daddy. She basically banned my mother from the family because she married a dark-skinned man. Stabbed my daddy too. She stabbed my daddy because he was black. I don't know if y'all know the family history, but there's some people in our family. Our family. If you don't pass the brown paper bag test to this day, you is not coming in their house. I promise you that.
I
To
wanted to
this
say
day.
something.
No.
Oh, somebody talking?
Okay.
But
Oh, that's what Gloria had said about whatchamacallit. When she was like, damn, what did you say, Gloria?
you
About
cursing?
dark
Talk
skinned
too
girls
much.
being ghetto? About dark skinned girls?
No. When you said it was a male versus female thing about
Yeah, about
black.
black men don't even want to date black women, but your
Yeah,
mom
but sometimes I don't.
black.
Sometimes it might just be a preference. I don't think now you can tell sometimes when it's just you just ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's just a preference. Like sometimes I prefer taller men, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it really is just a preference. And then Angelique, what you said, when you said, what did you say? When she said how black people did it to themselves about how we separated ourselves.
yeah, with the
No,
paper bag.
I don't think so. That all started with the white people because if you go way back, it's always the simplest things, and then somebody else just piggybacks off of it. Like for instance, with the slaves, how they separated the light and the dark.
Yeah, the house.
The one, right, the ones who had fine hair and the ones who had kinky hair, or the ones who had voluptuous curves and the ones who had no curves. That was them first. And then because we saw how they were treated, we did the same thing amongst ourselves. So it didn't start with us, it started with them. But because we didn't know any better, we kept on, pushing that idea when in fact we had to learn about ourselves to be like, no, we don't necessarily have to do that. But go ahead, Gloria. What you about to say?
I wanted to go back to you saying, oh, it's just their preference. Where does the preference come from? Just like you said, it was identified way back then. Way back then, it was identified. Typically, master's children were lighter. If the master had fathered these children, they were lighter. And some of the masters were kinder to their children. Some of them, they are lighter. Bring my kid in the house. This is my kid. They didn't acknowledge them like that legally. They're still white, but they were treated better, dressed better, brought into the house, given easier tasks to do, right?
Uh-huh.
Now the black people in the field looking at the girl that looks closer to master with the curly hair and the light skin, and she's dressed better than these other field hands, right? These other
Right.
dark-skinned sisters out in the field. Where did that preference come from? It all stems from the same oppression by making us divide against each other. They looked at the master's half-white children, and they was like, you know what? If I can get that, they idolized it. If I can get that, then that was internalized over time. And like Angelique said, we started doing it to ourselves. And when I hear black men say, I do not date black women. I do not. They got an attitude. They not smarter. They ghetto. They don't work as hard. And I'll be like, bruh, to me, you're right. Some people, they just prefer, but I still think it stems in slavery. They
Okay,
just-
so what about those who say I only date black women? You got
But
to show
even-
the same
whoa.
consideration.
Even those dudes, I only date black women. They usually cater to lighter skinned black women.
Not the ones I've
I
seen.
don't agree with that one now.
That's what I'm about to say.
It all
Not the
depends
ones
on
I've
Black
seen.
and the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Hold
Yup.
up. Geography. That has everything to do with geography. In the South, black men who are, I love black women. Look at they women. Look at they women.
Even down here.
In the, it's all geographical. It's all geographical. If you in the South, these black men that love black women, or they got long hair or something, or they, there's something that affiliates their phenotypes look closer to white women. Now, or I can't speak for that. I don't know. In the island men probably like darker women.
They like fat women.
Accustomed to.
That's true. They like them.
They like fat
They're
women
healthier.
because fat women are considered healthier. They like fat women.
So do you get what I'm saying? It's geographical, but that preference thing about light skin, that is all stemming from slavery and oppression. That stems from slavery. And what I can't think is, yo, black ass, as black as you are, got the nerve to say you won't date a black woman, but your mama black. Your sisters are black. You were raised by a black woman.
I don't have a problem with the preference. It's when you come with the reason of
The reason why you prefer. It's the reasons
stereotypes
why
that's
you prefer.
perpetuated. Right. That's the
Every time I hear any brother explain why they don't date black women, it's derogatory. Black women are loud. Black women are ghetto. I don't like the fake hair. Your mama got the same kind of hair. Your mama got the same hair. So when I hear black men say things like that, you don't love yourself, dude. You is the one McBean done speeches. You the one that McBean done trained your mind. If she not light, it ain't right. If she don't have silky hair, look at I can see it so clearly in kids when girls' weave don't match their real hair. It's the boys attacking the girls way more than girls attacking girls. Dude, why you even paying that close attention?
Wow.
Little boys supposed to be doing whatever little boys do, but they actually matching up weave. Your weave don't match. Dude, go play. Leave her alone. And where is this coming from? Where?
Think about it before. Those ones who got into it.
Somebody talking?
Sorry, that's my friend. I have company for the weekend. She was just saying that
Okay.
think about it. It was most guys that were making fun of her appearance and her hair when she was growing up.
And it is. It's boys. And that's what I'm saying. Where did they get it from, though? Where did this preference come from? Because they don't like themselves and they affiliate beauty. The beauty standard is a white standard. The beauty standard, this comes from slavery. And if you, I love black women. Most of them men, they are dating light-skinned women, biracial women. It's hard out here in these streets for darker-skinned women. Let's just be honest. And I don't know if Dr. Seuss intended it to be within, like to highlight what was going on within communities, but this is not only black people, Indian people say the same thing.
Yeah.
Indian people,
Yeah.
Spanish people. It's every culture. White people have really fucked up the world. They got us all hating ourselves. And then they use capitalism. Cause see what the rich ones did, they're white, right? But the poor white people, they affiliate with this idea, but it's really about money. But they feel like they something big because they skin white. The only difference between you and me, my nigga, and I'm saying nigga as a referred in reference to ignorance. Your white ass make the same amount of money I do. We both poor, nigga. We both poor. And they're keeping you divided from me. Nigga, you stupid. It's rich white people, people in power, political positions. We the same, my nigga. We the same. We poor. Get it together. And that's what Dr. Seuss, I believe, was showing us. And at the end of the day, we all the same. We all eat the same. We drink the same. We want the same damn thing. But they use the money to keep us apart.
I dropped my miniature microphone and they come in the mail yet. Gloria, I blame you. I went and bought me and that those miniature microphones just so I could tap on it and tap, 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 tap. Oh gosh.
I think we're gonna need another set because all that dropping is gonna be broken by like the end of the day meeting.
That's right. Why tell you tape it to the side of your face. Tape it to the side of your face and keep one side turned. They'll never know it's there.
How am I drop it?
I don't drop it.
Drops. That included, from the beginning.
Lay some napkins on the desk and then go boop. Oh gosh. But yeah, a lot of the things that we do now, and you know how they say that we're born with no memory, how we're born knowing nothing. I don't believe so. How animals are born and they know to do things to survive. I think we're born with certain instincts too that have been passed down generationally. So, like you said, where does that preference come from? It's so ingrained in us, in our society, that when the next generation comes, they still think light is right. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to take, I don't know what it's going to take, but it's going to be some type of big movement to make them realize you are fine just the way you are. Because if you notice, our race has every genome of every other race. There is no them without us. So until we realize that we contain everything, shit, we got the Eve gene. Fuck what you heard. Excuse my language. Bump what you heard. But we got the Eve gene. We control every race. Until we realize who we are and what we possess, it's going to be this way. We got to learn. We have to find a way to tell our children, and they tell their children, dude, we are the epitome of everything they want, everything they try to be. We don't need the surgery. I don't know why these girls are doing it now, but we don't need that surgery. We don't need all that extra stuff. We got it in us already. If you look within your family, my mom and dad have 6 kids that I know of. Okay, I'm gonna put it like that. All raised in the same house. If you lined us up, we are so diverse in color, hair texture, the way we talk, our accents, everything is different. Everything. You can look at us and tell we're related, but when we look amongst ourselves, we don't see what other people see. Because to us, we're so different. So I'm saying we have everything we need. How are we gonna get that message out though? That's the question.
Through the kids.
But that goes, my bad.
Go ahead.
That goes back to, we gotta really pay attention to this cancel culture shit. Anything that's being canceled, why do you want to completely censor something? We're in America. I thought we were against, as a country, we're against censorship. Because when you start making things be quiet, you can't discuss it. When you start killing things off, what do you think they did to our history? They canceled it. They cut it off. Shh, we can't tell them what really happened. We don't want to tell them about these cities and towns under lakes, or how we bombed civilians when they started making self-sufficient communities. They suppressed it. Why? Anything you don't want people to know, it's a reason, because they continue to control you. Once you get knowledge of self, nothing can stop you. And they like, these black people learning too much. They learning too much. And they're afraid we're gonna flip the script. But like Lucy was saying, we make all derivations. We can make white looking children. Black people can produce blonde-headed children. 2 black people can produce a blonde-headed child. You don't see that in the white community. You don't see that at all, at all. So they know that there's power. And the only way to keep us down is to exploit us on these little differences. I'm telling y'all, Dr. Seuss was an innovator, and we need not cancel. We need to go back. Anything that media is saying cancel, open that shit back up. Open it up. We need to open it up, talk about it. Oh, you could cancel it in school, but you can't cancel it at my house. You could cancel it in school, but you can't cancel it in my church. You can't cancel it on my Zoom call. You can't cancel it. And the thing about cancel culture is that's only for mainstream. We need to investigate everything that the mainstream media is saying cancel, because they trying to not let us talk about it for a reason. And that's why they don't want us to teach critical race theory. Oh, I can't teach it as a teacher in the classroom, but I'm gonna teach it at my house.
You gotta get in the camera.
I think you're making an answer.
I'm so sorry. It just makes me angry because we so quick to cancel. Like, we're so quick to cancel, but we're not quick to investigate.
Which one?
Even
And that's the thing right there.
Oh, it's just I got one story. I know a guy that I grew up with. He's from McDanieltown. His mom is black, his sister is black, right? And we kept in contact all these years. He joined the military. Yeah, I don't date no black girl. I don't date no black girl. I don't date no black girl. Ooh, no black girls. So this man has been all around the world. He's been everywhere. He's been to Israel, Africa. He's been to all places in Europe. He's been everywhere, right? He's been everywhere. So he's dated every kind of woman. He's dated Asians, Filipinos. He's dated Chinese. He's dated everything. Israeli. He's dated everything and got pictures to catalog it all. You know what he told me? Now he in his 40s. Now he in his 40s. I was like, oh, you don't date black women? He said, they all the same. They all the same. All the same. Black one's crazy, white one's crazy. Indian one's crazy, the Asian ones are crazy. They're all crazy. So he was attracted to, he preferred non-black women. But then he was like, once he got into a relationship with any woman, at the end of the day, they all wanted the same thing. And then he classified them as crazy. So who's the problem? What's the problem? How you look at your black mama, your black sister, and open your mouth and say, I don't like black women. So something happened to our young men where they do not prefer black women. And that's another conversation. The child-parent dynamic. But it all stems from slavery, boo. Slavery.
I had a question. What was this critical race? You said critical race what?
Critical race theory they do not want critical race theory taught in schools.
Okay, what is that? I'm trying to.
Okay, so you know how we've been taught history, right?
Uh-huh.
They were slaves. Oh yeah, hold on, somebody knocking at the door. They were slaves and then they were no longer slaves. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Who is that? Oh, that's Angelique.
No, I'm muted.
Nope. Can't. Oh, see. Can't. Dang, we all waiting so
Sorry,
quietly for
y'all
her to
was
come
waiting. I
back.
was gonna say y'all ain't even try
I'm
to Google
cooking.
it. Google
I'm
it.
cooking.
Ain't nobody said a word.
I'm cooking.
Critical race
what you cook-
theory.
Why? If you ain't bringing my babies over here, I ain't telling you nothing.
Raggedy.
I just be raggedy. That's okay.
So I did a quick Google search, but you know how you were taught about history. Everything
Mhm.
from a white person's perspective. All the books are written by, the group. Everything is written by the group in power right now, and that's white people. So everything has been written by scholars and everything, and to certain story a certain way. So you think about Sally Hemings. You have always been taught that she was a mistress, like she willingly was being with this man, right? Then you really investigate, find out she's 14. She's 14. And you start looking at it critically, right? So critical theory is an academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the United States who seek to critically examine U.S. law as it intersects with the issues of race in the U.S. and to challenge mainstream American liberal approaches to racial justice. So they're looking at the way history plays into the law. People are taught that Black people don't feel pain the same way as white people. People have been taught that Black people don't have the same types of feelings as white people. So, and our textbooks are written in such a manner that, some textbooks actually make slavery look like it was enjoyable or it was voluntary. And so Black children sit in these classrooms thinking, I hated when I was teaching those units when I taught history, because I would be like, the way the textbook, looked at the native, like, y'all heard of Manifest Destiny? The goal of America to just own all the land?
Yeah.
Okay, so told from that point of view, it's this grand idea. America will be from coast to coast. And that's the way it was taught. We're going to take all the land from coast to coast, but they don't tell the other side of the story.
That's true.
Don't really investigate the other side of the story. How you discover my land? I'm living here, my nigga. I'm living here. Is it that you can build your houses, tear down trees, and kill the animals that I need to eat? Because you think God destined you to own everything. White privilege. White privilege. So history is being taught from a white privilege standpoint. And now the culture is saying it's illegal to teach people the truth about what really happened or to even critically think about it. Critically think about it.
But I mean, to me, they wasn't really teaching that in school anyway. It wasn't until I got in college that I learned any of that stuff.
That's not true.
I'm talking about in school. Well,
I'm getting
the middle school.
I taught you.
I'm about to say the middle school we went to, they did teach that.
And it depends on what school.
But most schools, they don't.
Black
They
teachers
don't teach that
differently than white teachers.
That's true.
Black teachers, because when I was teaching slavery, when I taught about the Native Americans, that was the major unit in 4th grade. I was like, yo, we're gonna talk about Native Americans today. They be like, okay, yeah, Indians, and young kids thought Indians, and you only call it Indians, they're not Indians. They were all extinct.
What?
Yeah, children. If you ask a young child what a Native American is, they're all dead. They're all dead. No, they're not. They're here. And so when I started teaching, I'm like, y'all, you know where you live at? You like your house? The kids be like, yeah, you there with your family and everything. What if I came and knocked on your door and said, get out? It's my house now. Be up in a roar. No, you will get shot. You'll get killed. But we are trained to believe that Native Americans were savages. You came in my house. You stole my land. You killed off my animals. And I responded. I reacted. But the way it's being taught, they were just savages killing the pioneers that were there. They were just there.
And it's how it's written in the history book.
So now they're in 2021, And my people, they don't want us to teach kids that the Native Americans have feelings. And this land was originally theirs. That slaves didn't come over here and be like, yes, sir, boss. We work for you. Hey, ha ha. They don't want that taught in schools.
I find it very upsetting because it's like, so you'd rather teach a lie. Because I know when I really started to like uncover about Christopher Columbus and all stuff, I'm like, why they teach us then that the Pilgrims and the Indians sat down and had dinner together? Like, clearly that's not what happened.
Yes. Yes.
So like, you want to just keep teaching these lies. And unfortunately with critical race theory, I think because it has the word race in it, it's a problem. I think they should just call it American history. We're gonna, just like they changed Common Core, people were upset about it, but guess what, we do it now and it's fine. I think they should just be like, we're gonna revamp the history curriculum in America because we've been teaching things that aren't true. And like, that would have been beneficial. And it's not to hide what it is, because it's like you already been hiding stuff.
And see, the key is we've been teaching American history. American.
I was just about to say they don't even really teach Black history.
Not history.
Black history
not
is
just
always
not just Black history, American history.
slavery. That's it.
The
Other
only
than that,
contributions they really highlight
that's it.
is slavery.
That's it.
We really don't hit on all the inventions. But going back now, see, I always try to bring it back. The original thing that started this discussion was a children's book. The thing that brought this discussion was a children's book from an author that the mainstream has wanted us to cancel. All this conversation right now came from a children's book. So how do we move forward? How do we change this? How do we start? We need to, I done told y'all, we need more Black people in education. Yeah, teaching is hard. Teaching don't make no money. Teaching, these kids is wilding out. But you don't have to be a degreed teacher. You don't have to go to college and become a teacher. We need teachers. We need teachers in our communities. We need teachers. And you know, I'm so against church right now until it's not funny. I think my nose will start bleeding if I start talking about the Christian community too long. But we need to start teaching in our churches. We need to start getting girls groups and boys groups like the ones I used to volunteer for and actually teach. You don't need a degree to be a teacher. And that's another way they got us, y'all. That's another way they got us. They got us. College educations, that's another way they got us.
Hammers.
I had to pay you for the education. I got to pay you. I got to pay you out my nose, be indebted to you forever. We can educate. Look, you can get a degree without having the paper. There's nothing stopping Black educators and professors that already have their degrees from teaching us. Teach our people. Teach. If you, Destiny, you got a degree, use it. Teach other people.
Thank you.
You don't need no damn tuition. Teach.
Hey, my friend Francis wanted to say something specific about what we were talking about, American history and stuff.
I was like, I always wondered like why they don't teach about like Black history all throughout, because my parents are from Haiti and I learned that we were the first Black republic around 1804 that was freed from slavery. And a lot of Americans didn't know about that until Obama put it out there. But we were the first. But then when I look at the timing, maybe that was the reason why they didn't want us to read. Because in 1804, that's when we were liberated. But if you look at the timeline, around like probably 10, 15, 20 years later, they started like making laws for slaves not to read. I think that maybe that was connected, because it's not like now where like you can see something on the news from France or something like that. So it took them time to figure out that Haiti was free. So maybe that was the reason. That's what I'm thinking. They didn't really say it.
Also discourage other people from trying to do stuff.
Well, it's definitely connected. That's what we were talking about, keeping us in the dark. They didn't want us to read. Could you imagine the revolts would have happened if we could read what was going on in the rest of the world?
And
Like, if you're saying Haiti got their independence in the 1800s, you think slavery would have lasted that long? If you think we knew the other things that were going on in the entire world Because I'm quite sure those in power knew.
Yes. I think
And
it
those
would
in power
continue.
that knew changed it up on us again. They changed the game. That's what we're talking about. They changed the game. They didn't want us to know.
And I didn't even know that Haiti was the strongest army in the world at one point.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know about that. And
You
my
see what I'm
mother
saying?
didn't. So
They changing the game on us now.
Like they freed several parts of South America, I heard. They freed like several other islands, even the Dominican Republic. They freed them from their masters.
Most of the Caribbean was free before America was free.
Yes.
And we didn't even know that. I didn't know that until I went to college as an adult.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
know
what I
that.
learned.
I wish
I
I
didn't
did.
know that till I was an adult. And that was what, in 1990 something. So no, they don't want us to know that. And they don't want y'all to teach that either. I think they are in fear of us knowing too much. Because just imagine how mad we get mad over dumb stuff now and do some atrocious things. Now imagine if we get mad over this kind of stuff. Think about that. Because if you really want to think about it, if you think about all people of color, even the ones who don't think they are colored, all people of color outnumber white people. They just don't want to admit that they're colored.
Go ahead, Gloria. You dying.
That goes back to the book. That goes back to the book. That goes back to the book, y'all. That goes back to the book.
They were like, oh, I'm not.
The people of color.
I'm not black. I'm Indios. I'm like, no, you're black.
You're black. All the people of color. If you look at all the people, Indians, Asians, we're all of color. We outnumber them. We outnumber
That's
them.
right. Drop the microphone, Nat. Drop the microphone.
But like in the Sneetches, they keep us separated. Oh, you're Indian, you're Asian, you're this, you're that. No, the melanin came from Africa, baby. All of the melanin came from the same place. It came from, and we ever all united, Haitian, African, Nigerian, Jamaican,
they would be scared.
that the white people would. That's why they're trying to probably get to a damn planet somewhere. Get off the planet because they know we all waking up. They know we're waking up.
Tanya TKO.
They trying to get off this goddamn planet because they know we're waking up.
Tanya TKO just did a show about Asian taken from our culture. Here's the funny thing: this guy had his head twisted up in some like pipe cleaners, and when they took it out, it made little coils, and they took those little coils and they
I seen that,
and it made an afro, and they wanted her to make a comment, and I'm like, do y'all realize Asians are black? If you ever look at Buddha is a black man with the biggest nose I've ever seen on the planet.
Yeah, he does have.
Asians come from black people, and there are still sects of Asians that are darker skinned, and people don't realize Asians are black. So they wanted her to, Tanya TKO takes a side, gives her opinion, and I don't think they liked her opinion because she was like, it's cool. If you look at a black man's features and look at an Asian's feature, they are damn near the same. But once again, they divided us. Some got big noses, some got little noses. Some eyes chink up, some eyes chink down. Some got the afro. My doctor was Asian in New York. She was my GYN for all three of my kids. Bitch had an afro that would put Foxy Brown to shame. She had a mustache too, but still. But she had an afro.
No, she didn't.
She had an afro forever, and she was the sweetest person I ever met. Your daddy will tell you. She will tell you in a heartbeat, I'm black. And that's what she said to me, I'm black. And she was Asian. So, yeah, all these people, the number of colored people or minority races in the world, and they call us minorities for a particular reason to make us feel minor.
Yeah, because it's even the whole thing like with the model minority, that's supposed to divide. And then
exactly.
I saw something on TikTok a couple weeks ago where somebody made a post and it blew my mind. I had to like sit and marinate it for like a little bit afterward. They said, how come when they did the Stop Asian Hate, the reply wasn't Stop All Hate? But when we was like, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, all lives.
Yeah.
So they made Juneteenth a holiday. This is another divisive tactic. they made Juneteenth a holiday, right?
Yeah.
They passed an anti-Asian hate crime bill. They passed that. But they won't pass an anti-lynching bill? Divisive. You're
It
right,
is
Angelique.
divisive.
Why didn't they just say all hate crimes? All of them. All hate crimes. Why was it specific to Asians when black people
The
are
Asians
being
are
lynched
lighter,
in the
and by
streets and
doing that,
everything?
the Asians can continue to separate themselves. Even though while they build businesses in our communities because the white people don't want them there, and then we keep feeding them our dollars. The nail salons, the hair salons, the beauty supply.
Low self-esteem, low self-esteem, low self-esteem. Keep the nails done, keep the money
If
out of
all of us got together, like you said, they're outnumbered. If all the minorities, the Asians, the Hispanics, the blacks, the Caribbean, whatever, if we all got together and that's why the gay community made so much progress so quick. Because they were like,
I'm
oh,
close to the mic, Ange.
you don't know? You don't know what body you're supposed to be in? Asexual? Come on, we got you. They weren't like, oh no, sorry, trans people. Like, no, I'm sorry, people who are asexual. I'm sorry, question mark. Like, no, this is what's gay, this is what's lesbian. They were like, oh, you come on, you come on.
Neither one.
And they marched, they got more
But I'm gonna have to sit in there.
freaking 10, 20
I'm
years.
saying, with her, she ain't gonna be still. With her,
Still fighting.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's very divisive.
I got an action plan. Every time I meet with anything, church, school, I'm like, okay, what do we do next? What's the next step? Go ahead.
I gotta go. All right.
Oh, bye, Destiny.
All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
All right. Later.
Bye, Destiny. My action plan is this. As a community of all people of color and poor people, my action plan is we all need to work on our self-esteem. And that's on period. We got to stop allowing the media to manipulate us into believing that we need nails, that we need fake hair, that the hair that God gave us isn't good enough. Now, I'm not talking about people with sicknesses like cancer or alopecia, things like that. I'm talking about if the majority of us stop. It's to the point now that if you have something real, people think it's fake. If you are wearing your real hair and it looks really, really nice, people think it's fake. Because that has now become the norm. It's become standard to be fake. If we all would just work on our self-esteem and improving our health to be the best it could be, because that's a whole nother thing. Because now is through our health. So
We have to reinforce.
capitalism is heavily based off of sick people too. Sick people.
Mm-hmm.
We need to work on our self-esteem and health. If we could do that, stop going to these damn nail salons. Stop going to these beauty salons, getting, all this money put into our heads, and let's start putting knowledge. There was a TikTok. TikTok is very powerful. If you're on the right side of TikTok, it's very powerful. But they were talking about Beyonce. Beyonce made a song and said, okay, ladies, let's get information, right? They were thinking formation, like a military formation.
Mm-hmm.
But you can look at it in a double way. Okay, ladies, let's get information.
Mm.
Ooh.
I like that.
Okay, ladies, let's get information. Information. And if you listen to the song, I was like, oh shit. Whoa.
You cursing?
Oh my bad. It was
I'm
so
beefing myself,
powerful.
so I don't care.
It was so powerful. Okay, ladies. Now remember, this was supposed to be her coming out militant, all black video. Everybody was black, and she did the halftime show. Everything was like immaculate. And then this one TikToker broke it down. She wasn't talking about getting it. Well, she was. Two things. Get in military formation and get ready, but get all the information. And then there was another, okay, ladies, now let's get information. Okay, let's now get in. And then it was another part, and it was like, she was telling us to get informed. Get informed, because women are, look, they separate us, right? They separate us. The way you oppress anything is by oppressing their women. And she also has another song that talks about who runs the world. Girls.
Who runs the world?
We having babies. Who has the power to change the world? Women. You change them by how you raise your babies. We can change the whole game, y'all. The whole game. You got to unite women of color. White women on a whole different spectrum. But women of color, we can change the whole game. We got to stop accepting this foolishness. But yeah, I know everybody is against TikTok, whatever, but they be putting out some good stuff on TikTok. You just got to sit down and marinate. Okay, let's get information. Information. Stop letting them cancel everything, period.
I'm gonna cut it right there. We're gonna come back on next month with another set. Throw me those ideas. I'm happy to say we got Angelique going into our second editions with Nana Said, and she's gonna be illustrating. And we're gonna have next book me on one of the books when we are done. Thank you guys. I'm hoping that we are rereading all this canceled material with the kids and having these long discussions as well. Because I surely did rewind back on because we don't have the book. I used the link and I went through each section of the book just to see where my daughter's head was at and just have a little conversation. It's like, okay, these are the things that made them different, but what makes them the same? Then I said, what makes us the same? And the first thing she did was point out our differences. So that tells me we got something to work on. We did talk about, we both have skin, we both have hair. Nah, it's not what my hair color is, we both have hair. I got some work to do. But it's still that we had the conversation and we're working on it. And that's, if nothing else, just do that. And with the self-esteem, of course, we definitely have to impress upon the kids that self-esteem issue. Just the beautiful blackness, the hair, you are naturally, as you were made, beautiful. A lot of these kids are walking around just broken because they are neck deep in social media. It's so much going on out there. It's very confusing, especially to a child. And that's what's popular. So that's what they're comparing themselves to. And there's nobody telling them no. They're not being supervised with, of course, we're supervising the content, but as we know, us who are informed, there are messages being thrown out. I almost never now have her watching what's on TV now. We watch old cartoons, old movies, and we talk about them. And I have to say, there's a few that I like cringe on because I'm like, I did not catch that as a child. We're gonna have a talk.
Yeah, because a lot of them old cartoons are very, very sexually explicit. If you're not, as a child, you missed it.
We're gonna have to do a watch party on Tailspin one day because we were watching that the other day, and I was like,
Tailspin.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to talk about this. And I used to love Tailspin.
We gonna have to talk. I need to know.
Tailspin was, maybe for a 5-year-old wasn't ready yet, but I know I liked it as a kid, and I was just like, for one, the lady Rebecca, I used to love her. I'm like, I want to be Rebecca when I grow up. Now I look at her, I'm like, she's a bitch. Like, I don't want to be Rebecca.
Think about it. When we look at these things, first of all, they use these things to catch our attention to watch them. But as kids, you don't realize exactly what you're watching. But when you go back as an adult, you go, ooh. Did they just Jesse was watching some cartoon with Zoe, and I heard the word specifically dick. I heard the word dick, and I stopped. And then they kept saying it. The character's name was Richard. But he was a dick. But he was a dick.
They try to normalize.
Right. They told him, he said, your name is Richard, but you know you're a dick. Because everybody know that Dick is the short version for Richard. But I'm sitting there listening, I'm like, Daphne, you know what they're saying? That's like, yeah, Mom, I'm about to cut this thing off because it didn't say we're gonna call you Dick as your nickname. Richard's a dick. And Richard's character was a dick. And I'm like, ooh, I said, Daphne, turn that off right now. But yeah, back in the day, and it was an old cartoon. And I was just watching till we got to the dick part. And I'm like, we never watched these things before like that. And I'm not gonna say that we're woke. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say we're informed now.
And like we said, those things that have been canceled, we need to go back and see why.
I mean, I wouldn't cancel that cartoon. It served a purpose, but you know,
All
I
of
wouldn't
it.
let Zoe watch it.
Just before I even cut off, I used to love Popeye. He's the reason I would eat spinach out of
Girl,
a can.
Popeye got some stuff going on too.
But then I was reading an article and they had a clip of an old Popeye cartoon. I've never seen it before, but it was an old Popeye cartoon. I don't know if you guys remember about the black people in the circus and how they used to use them as target practice, and they had a Popeye cartoon with just that. And it just broke my soul right there. Broke my soul. I was letting my daughter watch Popeye. She loved Popeye in her Spanish too.
What? Y'all gotta keep remembering the time frame. If you're gonna I'm not telling you to make her watch it, let her watch it. But if you're gonna let her watch it, you gotta explain it. You gotta explain the story behind it. Because the cancel culture is just don't want you to know. And they need to know. So if you're gonna let her watch it, go, this happened in 1930 or whatever, when they were using black people as target practice and alligator bait and all that.
Because, she didn't see that. And
I'm done.
I'm saying this is why the kids don't know. If you don't know your history, you're damned to repeat it. Mm-hmm. Point blank.
I got one more thing. I think that is how white supremacy has slowly infiltrated all the communities. They do it subliminally through these little small things like Popeye. And these things have been gone. We as kids, you're not even internalizing it like that, but your subconscious is. That's how they did that little study where they showed a black girl a white doll baby and a black doll baby. Very, very small child. Which baby is good? Which baby is bad? Which baby is beautiful? Which baby is ugly? And this child was way too small to be explicitly taught that. But it was already ingrained in her mind. Which was beautiful? Which one was ugly? Which one was the bad child and which one was the good child? It was there. Where is it coming from?
You know what?
From?
You made me just think of too, like some of the people that are against critical race theory. I mean, there's some minorities too, but a lot of them are Caucasian. And it's like, they're the proof of why we need it. The fact that you think that we don't, the fact that you think we live in a post-racial society, that's the proof right there, because you're so jaded. And it was funny because somebody on Reddit explained it really well about like systemic racism. It's like, imagine if somebody built a building and they didn't years ago and they didn't like disabled people and they purposely made it hard for them to access. And now the building gets sold to somebody who has absolutely no problem with disabled people. But now they're upset because there's people who would like the design of the building to change so that it can be more accessible, and they're pissed off about it. And it was like, it's not that you did it. If we're not saying you did it, we're not saying you want it this way. We need you to acknowledge, though, that there's a problem. This building is not accessible to everybody, and it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. And that's why when we have to really investigate what we are letting in our ears and eyes, because there's a lot of messages going on and they want us to cancel it. They don't want us to talk about it. Just like the foundations of America were built on oppression, thievery, all of that stuff. And the people who were deeply affected by that and impacted by that, we are still living under those things. We're still living under that. Like the building where the handicapped people cannot access it. We cannot access wealth. We cannot access, and it's being done on purpose.
Yeah.
And the people who developed the system are still benefiting off the system that they want us to ignore and forget.
With education, we still can't climb up the ladder.
I read in my memories, it said
I didn't hear what she said.
it was in 2000, it came up from 2015. It said in 5 to 10 years, same-sex marriages would be legal. It said same-sex marriages, and it said being gay would be okay, but racism would still dominate the culture. I was like, wow, Sway, wow. And I was gonna repost, but I repost a lot of stuff.
Who posted it?
Like, I didn't repost it because people have been calling me and inboxing like, "You okay? Are you fine?" I'm like,
Wait,
"No."
that was something that you posted and it came up on your memories, or something you shared?
Yeah, something I posted and it came up in my memories.
Oh, okay. So she posted.
So and I had to stop reposting stuff because people were like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." When something resonates, I post it. And Divine is calling me, and I don't know why. Hold on, let me try to take it on my phone.
No worries.
Yeah,
I know you gotta wrap it up. But every time we have these meetings, I always think, what are our next steps? What are our next steps? The next steps is to improve self-esteem and health.
Self-esteem, health,
And education. And just because we do not have to keep getting degrees when so many people in our communities already have degrees, teach people what you know for free. Teach people what you know on your platform.
Yeah.
Teach people what you know. And that is the only way that's another way that they have oppressed us, believing that we got to make money off of everything. And we don't see the bigger picture.
That is so true. Frances also said something like kind of under her breath a minute ago. She was like, even with education, we can't get ahead. And I think it's funny because they moved the mark on that too. Now, granted, it wasn't just because of minority. They moved, but like you can't do nothing with it with
You're
barely.
frozen.
I'm frozen?
No, you're not. She's not frozen for me.
Net.
Am I better, Gloria? You were frozen.
Oh, I was frozen. Everybody was frozen for me.
Yeah.
But Frances was saying like with education, we still can get ahead. And it's like, I feel like they moved the mark with that too. Because now that whatever they did with all these loans to make them so accessible, there was a few years there where people who were able to get loans, who may not have been able to get loans, they went to college, they got degrees, and they got good paying jobs. But now it's like, dang, you can barely make a decent living with a darn bachelor's. And a freaking associate's is like a high school diploma now. It doesn't mean jack. And it's like, again, they moved the mark. And granted, it's because of us, because ultimately it's the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. They just use race to obfuscate that. Because it goes back to the thing, like they said, if I can make the lowest white man feel better than the best black man, mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
So, yeah, it's all that classism and stuff like that and that elitism. But it's like, yeah, they moved the mark with the damn education too. And it's like, even now, for the past few years, the graduates of colleges in America, majority have been Black women. But yeah, you're right. We don't have to monetize everything. Sometimes we have to see the value beyond this, because there's a value beyond this. This is inflation. We have a value that multiplies and has no inflation. And it's that knowledge and being able to impart that and to pour in without necessarily expecting this back. To know that what you're doing is generational. You're sowing a seed that's going to grow, continue to grow.
Yep.
Because just like in real life, things pollinate. Knowledge is a tree that grows and that pollinates.
Oh my God, y'all. You just made me have such a huge epiphany, Angelique. Remember at the beginning, we were talking about some could go to the Frankfurter roast and some not. And then somebody made the comment of, you don't have to go to theirs. Make your own. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, people are like, oh, there's no jobs because you got to have the degree to get the job and they won't hire you without the degree. We have enough people in our Black community and all communities of color where they have degrees. We can make our own.
There's also people making money watching movies and that they've never seen on YouTube, and people pay them monthly fees to see what movie they're going to watch yet. Because it'll be a movie that like maybe almost everyone has seen, but they've never seen it, like Jurassic Park. People make money doing that. People make money playing video games. My cousin found a recipe for all natural soap online, and she started a business, and she has a baby, and she's doing just fine for herself. She found a free recipe online, and she makes organic soap, and she sells organic soap through Instagram.
What I'm saying is that we have enough knowledge within our community. We don't have to participate anymore. If we looked at it as
we don't have to wait for them to open the door.
We don't have to wait for them to open the door to their colleges is taking out these fucking loans. We don't have to do it anymore. There's so many of us that are educated and have enough money now that we can literally flip America upside down.
We just
Like
have to get
LeBron
past
James,
because a lot
James
of black people who make it.
We need more people doing stuff like that. We don't have to. You don't have to go to college. I think going to college for teaching is dumb as hell.
Wow.
Why do I need a whole degree to teach a child ABCs? I could do that. There are people with no degrees teaching their children. They come out
Yes.
way smarter than the kids in public school. And the mama don't have no degree. The mama don't have no degree. Why the hell am I $50,000 in debt to become a teacher? We all have the ability to teach. We just need somebody to hire us that knows that, and you don't have $60,000, $70,000 worth of debt to become a teacher, and put me in your fucking classroom and let me teach. We have enough resources within our own community to do that. We do not have to participate anymore. We don't. We don't need them. And that goes back to segregation. Maybe integration did hurt people. Because now we think we had to be in their Frankfurter roast. And we didn't have to be. We could have made our own.
Make my own marshmallows. And
Like, I don't want
I don't know.
Y'all so silly.
But yeah, y'all, that you've been trying to cut this thing off.
Yeah, because not a big mistake.
God.